First and foremost, want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai. That's Yahweh, who the world inwardly calls God. In the name of the Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world knows is Jesus Christ. It's your brother Kazak Magun of the Angels of Yahweh out of Chicago, right? Coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? So while I was at work, I'm fresh off work right now, right? But while I was at work, I decided to ask, this question to the AI chat, right? I use Meta AI. I know some brothers, many other brothers, they use Chat GPT. It's all the same though, right? But I decided to ask this question, right? Because a lot of scholars, when it comes to Daniel the 7th chapter and Daniel the 2nd chapter, right? When it's talking about that last kingdom, right, that's supposed to be reigning before the coming of before the coming of Christ, Mashiach Yahushai, as we would say in the Hebrew, right? That last kingdom that's supposed to be reigning, they would say it's a mystery kingdom, like they don't know who it is. But we see through the scriptures that this kingdom, is likened unto the Roman. It's a direct extension from the Roman Empire, right? Matter of fact, let's just go to it, right? Before we dive off into that, right? I'm already in the book of Daniel, right? Let's start off with Daniel 7. Salakia. Right, Daniel 7. And let's start at verse. So when you coming into Daniel 7, right? It starts off with Daniel, saying that he had a vision. He's telling us his vision, right? He dreamed of 4 beasts, right? It said 4 beasts, and each beast represents a kingdom, an empire, a dynasty, right? Each beast was diverse from the other, right? So it said the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. This is the Neo-Babylonian Assyrian Empire, right? You look up the Babylonian griffin, right? It's literally a lion with eagle's wings. That was that was the I guess you could say mascot or whatever, for their empire, right? Which fell. It started the Assyrians were reigning first, but the Neo-Babylonian Empire, you could say, started reign from 605 BC to, I would say, around where they fell. They fell to the Persian Empire to the Medo-Persian Empire around 539 BC, right? The next beast, it said, behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised itself on one side. So this beast is talking about the Medo-Persian Empire, right? The Medo-Persian Empire. And they came into power around 539 BC, right? And they came out of power around, I believe it's 331, circa 331 to 335 BC, right? And they fell to the Greeks, right? It said the bear raised itself up on one side. That means that one side was stronger than the other, right? Meaning the Medes, they were in power first, right? And then the Persians ultimately took over. Salakia. It says, and it had 3 ribs in his mouth, right? I believe those 3 ribs are Lydia, Egypt, and Assyria, right? Those are the 3 ribs, right? Verse 6, and after this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it, right? So it said this beast was like a leopard, right? And this is talking about the Grecian Empire, right? The Greeks, right? Chiefly under Alexander the Great. That's why it's talking about the leopard, right? Because he rode into battle with the leopard skin upon his horse, right? And they came into power around, I believe, I want to say 331 BC. They took down the Medo-Persian Empire, right? It said the four wings and the four heads. It's speaking about the four generals that Alexander had, right? And you would know about this if you did the history on the books of the Maccabees, right? It starts off with that, right? I believe you had Cassander, Seleucus, Seleucia. I can't remember the four generals off the top of my head. I believe it's Cassander. I want to say Lysimachus, Seleucus, and Ptolemy. I believe those are the four generals: Cassander, Lysimachus, Seleucus, and Ptolemy. Right? Those were the four generals, right? Because when Alexander died, he died young. I believe he was around 24 years old. He died young, right, due to syphilis, right? Because he was a freaky man, right? But Salakia. So he divvied out his kingdom, his empire, to his four generals, right, that he grew up with, right? Divvied it out to them. Verse 7, right? Here's the point. It say, after this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth, right? This is talking about the Roman Empire, right? The great iron teeth is speaking about the military might of the Roman Empire. It said it was diverse from the rest, right? Because the fighting tactics and the style and the army, right, was different than the rest of the beasts that we seen, the rest of the empires that reigned before it. It was different, right? It said it devoured and break in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it, right? So it said it devoured. When you watch the movie, what is that? You watch Gladiator 1, Gladiator 2, right? When you watch those movies, you see that the Roman Empire, right? They had Spaniards fighting for them. You know, they had they had Grecians fighting for them. You know, wherever they went and they conquered, they brought those people. You know, those people, you know, became part of their army and all of that, right? They became one of their territories, one of their provinces, right? So their army was different than all the rest, right? And wherever they went, they were just going and conquering. You see that in movies Gladiator 1 and Gladiator 2, right? That they were just going, it's like a conquering tour that they were just going on, right? It says, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it's like, yeah, it's 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning almost. So forgive me if I yawn. Right? It said it was diverse from all the beasts before it, and it had 10 horns, right? Those 10 horns, right? Salakia. Those 10 horns are going into the European common markets, right? It has 7 heads and 10 horns, right? Today they would be known as NATO and the EU, right? NATO and the EU, right? You got NATO and then you got the European Union, right? Salakia. It says, I beheld, wait, no, Salakia. Verse 8. Here's the point right here, right? Because this is going to name another horn that comes out of those 10 horns, right? That's an extension of this empire, right? It said, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, right? And the mouth speaking great things. So what is it talking about? Right? It said, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them, right, another little horn, right, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. So you had 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. This horn emphatically is talking about America, right? America is an extension of the Roman Empire. That's why I asked this question to not Chat GPT, Meta AI, which is, just like Chat GPT. It's the same damn thing, right? But that's why I asked this question to the AI chat. I asked, what modern day country is most comparable to the ancient Roman Empire? Right? Because why? This same little horn is the same as the second beast, Salakia, as the second beast that you read about in Revelation 13, right? You had a beast, right? When you read Revelation 13:1, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. This is the Roman Empire, right? It said, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy, right? So it had the 7 heads and the 10 horns. That's the Roman Empire, right? It said, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were like as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority, right? So the dragon, this beast got his power from Satan ultimately, because Satan is the dragon, right? I'm gonna jump down to verse 4. It say, and they worshiped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him? So that's what they said about the ancient Roman Empire. They looked at it like, damn, who able to take these people out of power? Who able to make war with them? Who is able to destroy this empire? Ultimately, the Roman Empire, destroyed itself, right? Down there from the inside out, right? That's how it had to be destroyed. But others, bystanders, they was looking like, who is able to make war with this beast? Like, who is able to take them down? And that's the same way today people look at America, right? That's the same way today people look at America. That's why I'm going to jump down to verse 11. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, right? So this beast that's coming up out of the earth, right? It said it had 2 horns like a lamb, and it spake as a dragon. A lamb is a docile creature, right? It had 2 horns. Those 2 horns represent, basically the right wing and the left wing, of this nation, right? Basically, the political parties and all of that. That's, you got the right, you got the leftists and the right and the far rights, whatever, right? And it spake as a dragon. America speaks as a dragon because it taunts at you. What does a dragon do? It blows fire, right? America blows fire. How does it blow fire? It drop bombs on you. All of these things, right? Salakia, verse 12. It say, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him. So that's the point right there. This second beast exerciseth, meaning it promotes itself and it carries itself in all the power of the first beast before it. So we see that first beast is the Roman Empire, right? Because it ties back all the way, to Daniel. It's the same beast, right? With the 10 horns and the 7 heads, right? And this second beast, it said it exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast. So this second beast, right, which is America, and I'm going to show you, is causing everybody to worship the Roman Empire. Look at the building structures, right? You go to Chicago downtown, right there by the beam, right? You look to the left of the beam, right? You got that structure, and it looks like a Greco-Roman building structure, right? Even the way that America's government is set up, it resembles the Roman government, like the way that they have the House and the Senate, and the way that they elect, one ruler, but at the same time, that one ruler, he has to, take heed to the word of the House and the Senate, even though he's the emperor, right? So we gonna get to that, right? Because that's in the book of the Maccabees. But all of these things, America causes everybody to worship ancient Rome because America is, in a way, ancient Rome, but it's the revised Roman Empire, right? America is an extension of the Roman Empire. And I'm gonna read that again. It says, and he exercised of all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, right? And Salakia, that beast, the first beast had caught a deadly wound. That's talking about when they ultimately when the Roman Empire fell, and then the wound was healed during the Renaissance, right? When the so-called white man started coming back into power and all these things, right? Salakia. It say, verse 13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he make a fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, right? That's talking about when America dropped bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? During World War II, right? Made the fire come down out of heaven, doing great wonders, right? Doing great wonders. That's why they looking at America like, who can make war with these people? This the great army that they have, and the infrastructure and the power that they have in the world. It seemed like nobody could take America out, right? So let's go back to the question. I asked once again, what modern day country is most comparable to the ancient Roman Empire? We got to know this, because how else will we know who is that extension of Rome that the scriptures is talking about, right? And this is what chat told me. It says the modern day country most comparable to the ancient Roman Empire is a topic of ongoing debate among historians. Some argue that the United States, that's the first country they named, the United States, America, Babylon the Great, shares similarities with ancient Rome. Why does it share similarities? It's finna tell you. Shares similarities with ancient Rome due to its global influence and military presence. So even chat, even damn AI chat knows that America is an extension of Rome, right? It says due to its global influence and military presence, man. Right? Ancient Rome had a military presence that was damn near unbeatable. And that's how they look. That's why they said in Salakia. That's why they said this in Revelation 13 and verse, what is that? Verse 4. And they worshiped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him? Let me grab that in another translation. Let's see what that says. All right. Revelation 13 and 4. Bible comparison. All right. Let's look. Let's do the NLT. It say they worship the dragon for giving the beast such power, and they also worship the beast. And they also worship the beast. Who is as great as the beast? They exclaimed. Who is able to fight against him? Saying, who is able to fight against these people, against this country, against this nation? That's what they look at and say. The outside nations, they say, damn, who could take these people out? Who got the power? Who got the nuclear strength? Who got the army? Who got the infrastructure to take them out? Right? Salakia, let's get another one. In the ESV, it say, and they worship the dragon, for he had given his authority to the beast, and they worship the beast, saying, who is like the beast, and who can fight against it? Right? Who can fight against this beast? Who could take them down? That's the same thing that the Lord said about Esau. And that's how you know Esau, for you damn dummies out there. So like, yeah, let me stop, man. Right. For you misguided brothers, forgive me, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. For you misguided brothers that's out there saying that Esau is the Arabs, you brothers are terribly misguided, man. Right? Because the so-called white man, people don't look at the Arabs like who could take them out. Trump dropping bombs on the Arabs is killing one of their generals, every 3 years. Before he got out of office the first time, he killed one of their generals. Oh, Salakia, that was a Persian general. Salakia. But still, at the same time, nobody is looking at the Arabs like a threat, man. When Obama was in office, they went against the Al Qaeda, and SEAL Team 6 went up in there and killed Osama. So ain't nobody worried about the damn Arabs, man. They looking at the so-called white man, saying, damn, who gonna take this man out of power? Right, let me go to Romans 9. They say the same thing when they said, who was able to make war with the beast? It's the same thing that the Most High, put in the heart of Esau. Right? This Romans 9 and Salakia. Verse 17. No, I'm gonna start at 13. I'm gonna jump down. It say, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. Right? So the Most High said he loved Jacob, the 12 tribes, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the Israelites. Right? But he said, but Esau, who is Esau, the so-called white man? He said, have I hated? Right? What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? Meaning, is God bogus for thinking like this, for doing this? It say, God forbid, meaning hell no. Right? It say, for he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So like it. Right? It say, so then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that showeth mercy. Here go the point right here. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. Right? So the Lord, in the same way the Lord made Egypt that dynasty, that unbeatable dynasty, and only the Lord was able to take them out, right? It's the same way the Lord raised Esau up, right? And so the Lord has to be the one to take them out, so that the Lord's name could be feared throughout all the earth, like it was before in the time of the Exodus, man. Right? This is what the Lord wants. Let's go to Joshua. Joshua 9. I believe that's Joshua 9 that I want. No, it's Joshua 10. Is it? So like, yeah. So like, you're trying to get what Rahab said. I believe it might be 9 though. Bear with me. Is it 2? Am I tripping? It might be 2. Oh yeah, it's 2. My bad. Is it 2 and 9? 2 and 10? Yeah, kind. Joshua 2 and 10. So like, yeah. I'm thinking 10 and 2, 9 and whatever. Right? This Joshua 2 and I'm gonna start at 9. Right? When Joshua sent the men out to spy out Jericho, right? This is what Rahab the harlot said. Right? Joshua 2 and 9. It says, and she said unto the men, I know that the Lord have given you the land, and that your terror is fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you. Right? They feared us because they feared the Lord. And they knew that the Lord, our God, was with us. Right? Because of what the hell he just did to Egypt. Just fuck Egypt up. And they don't want that to happen to them. So they worry. And they know that they in the land that the Lord promised to us. And so they know they got danger coming. Right? It says, for we have heard how that the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea for you when ye came out of Egypt, and what ye did unto the two kings of the Amorites, right, that were on the other side of Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom ye utterly destroyed. Right? It said, and as soon as we heard these things, our hearts did melt. Right? Neither did there remain any more courage in any man because of you, for the Lord your God, he is God in heaven above and earth beneath. So the Lord had his name ringing, man. And when the Lord name ringing, our name ringing. And vice versa. Right? Because we his people and he our God. So going back to the chat, it say the modern day country most comparable to ancient Roman Empire is a topic of ongoing debate among historians. Some argue that the United States shares similarities with ancient Rome due to its global influence and military presence. Right? Then they just had to throw this in there to kind of throw you off. Others point to China as a comparable empire given its long history and significant global impact. That has nothing to do with nothing, right? The first two sentences that they said is the body blow right there, right? Is the body blow. Some argue that the United States shares similarities with ancient Rome due to its global influence and military presence. It's undeniable that the United States is the little horn. It's undeniable that the United States is the second beast in Revelation chapter 13, man. It's undeniable. United States is in the scripture. Scholars can try to sit and pretend like they don't know who the hell the damn beast is all they want. Mystery kingdom or whatever. As it say in my study Bible, it say mystery kingdom when they get to that. When they get to the feet and toes part in Daniel, the second chapter. But damn AI chat know that this place is it's an extension of the Roman Empire, man. All right, let's go to Daniel 2 and this shows that at the time of this empire is the same time Yahushua that sky's crack is go crack, and Yahushua, is go make his return, man. Right? So like this Daniel 2:30. It says, but as for me, right? Daniel 2 lines directly up with Daniel 7. It says, but as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living thing. Any living. But for their sakes, that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. Right? He's finna break down Nebuchadnezzar's dream. It says, this image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, and his feet part of iron and part clay. Right? And we're going to get into that. It say, thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. Right? Let's talk about Yahushua. He's that stone. It says, then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them, and the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. This is the interpretation. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven have given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. Right? Because the Most High, whatever kingdom is reigning, the Most High set it up. Right? The Most High set it up. You go to Daniel 4:17 and say the Most High reigneth in the kingdom of men and giveth it to whomsoever he will. Right? It says, verse 38, and wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of heaven hath he given into thine hand. Speaking about Nebuchadnezzar and the Neo-Babylonian Empire. Right? And he have made thee ruler over them. Thou art this head of gold. Right? And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth, right? Salakia, right? So another kingdom that they said was inferior to Nebuchadnezzar, that's talking about Medo-Persian, right? And then another kingdom of brass, right? That's talking about the Grecians, right? It says, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. That's talking about the Roman Empire, right? Strong as iron, right? For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise, right? Whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, right? So the feet and toes, this talk about America. America is a divided kingdom, right? Number one, it's a melting pot, right? Number two is talk about the political system. The government is divided, right? You got Democrats, Republicans. Even the Roman Empire was like that. You had plebeians. I believe they was called plebeians, and Salakia. Let me focus this, right? It should come up if I type it in like this: plebeians versus patricians, right? Salakia. Patricians were the wealthy, aristocratic elite in ancient Rome, while plebeians were the common citizens, farmers, merchants, workers, right? So patricians initially held all political power, but through centuries of struggle, the conflict of the orders, plebeians gained rights leading to shared governance and laws like the 12 tables, social right. So they had two political parties as well, just like America does today, right? Two main political parties, Democratic and Republicans, right? Republicans is more kind of for the rich, while Democratic is more kind of for the common man, more for the people, right? So it's kind of like the same thing all again today, man. Let me grab this real quick. Let me go to my other Bible app. All right. Ecclesiastes 1:9. It says, the thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there's no new thing under the sun. Ain't no new thing under the sun. You might think the way America is running is new. No, all this been done before, because America is an extension of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire did all of this, right? It says, whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay, and clay is weak. Clay can't really hold anything, right? Clay can be broken, if it gets hit the right way, right? If the right amount of force hits it, it's going to be broken. It's brittle. And part of iron, right? The kingdom shall be divided, right? That's talking about the government. The government is clay, is weak, right? But the military might and the Salakia, the military might and the weaponry, right? That's iron, right? That's iron right there. It says, and the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with clay, right? So in it is the strength of the iron, right? It says, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken, man, right? It say, and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, right? Talk about this place being that melting pot. It say, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. You can't mix the two together. It says, and in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom. So in the days of these kings, right? In those days, in the days of the feet and the toes, right? In the days of this kingdom, the Most High is going to set up a kingdom, right? Which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, meaning ain't nobody else going to be ruling in our kingdom, right? It says, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever, forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God have made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. Right? So emphatically, America is in the scriptures, man. Right? But it can't just plain come out, say that, you know, this place will be called America. It can't. They will burn this Bible. We wouldn't have access to it. Right? We wouldn't have access to it. Right? So America is that second beast. America is the little horn in Daniel 7, right? America is the feet and the toes in Daniel 2, right? America is the great whore, right? In Revelation 17, right? That rides the scarlet colored beast, right? I went into this the other day, but I'll go back into it because that video was kind of bogus and choppy, right? Revelation 17:1, it said, there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, right? And so, like, before I get into this, I did want to show how the government system is kind of the same, right? We show with the plebeians and the patricians, right? I want to also show with this, right? I believe it's Second Maccabees, the 8th chapter. It might be First Maccabees. Yeah, it's First Maccabees, the 8th chapter. Is it? Oh yeah, here it is, right here, right. This is First Maccabees 8, and I'm gonna start at 13. It say, also that whom they would help to a kingdom those reign, and whom again they displace finally, that they were greatly exalted. Verse 14, yet for all this none of them wore a crown or was clothed. I want to jump up a little bit. I'm gonna start at 11. Right. I'm gonna start at 11 because this is good. Right. It says, it was told him besides how they destroyed and brought under their dominion all other kingdoms and isles that at any time resisted them. Who that sound like? Just talk about the Roman Empire, but who does that today? America. What they just do? They just Venezuela been resisting America, and what they do? They just went and kidnapped their president and brought them under their dominion, man. America does the same thing. Verse 12. But with their friends and such as rely upon them, they kept amity. Right? So America does have friends. They do have allies. Who they got? Israel, number one. Right? They also got, so far, they kind of got the European Union and NATO. Right? But the European Union is kind of turning their back on America right now, as prophesied to happen in the scriptures. Revelation 17:16. The 10 horns shall hate the whore, right? It says, and that they had conquered kingdoms both far and nigh, insomuch as all that heard of their name were afraid of them, right? Who was able to make war with the beast, right? It say also that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reign, and whom again they displaced, finally that they were greatly exalted. Verse 14. Yet for all this, none of them wore a crown or was clothed in purple to be magnified thereby. Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house. So Rome had a senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people, to the end they might be well ordered, right? So they was in there passing laws. They was in there making arguments for the people, for the common person. You know, you had all of these. That's down there like the House of Representatives, right? Let's see what that is. Let's go into that. What is the job of the House of Representatives? The job of the U.S. House of Representatives is to make federal laws, represent constituents, and oversee the executive branch, working with the Senate as part of Congress. Key roles include introducing bills, controlling spending, originating revenue bills, initiating impeachment proceedings, and serving the specific needs of their congressional districts, right? Let's go to the purpose of the Senate. The job of the Senate. The Senate shares full legislative power with the House of Representatives. In addition, the Senate has exclusive authority to approve or reject presidential nominations to executive and judicial offices, and to provide or withhold its advance and consent to treaties negotiated by the executive, right? So the Senate has the power to, pick the president, right? And the House of Representatives, they introducing bills and passing them and all of that, right? But they work hand in hand with the Senate House, right? So ultimately they all together. I'm telling you, America is an extension of the Roman Empire, man, right? It says, Salakia, moreover, how they had made for themselves a Senate House, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people, to the end they might be well ordered, right? Is this I'm finna show you, right? Remember how they just said the Senate has the power to, basically pick the president. Verse 16, and that they committed their government to one man every year. They committed their government to one man every year who ruled over all their country. That's the president right there, right? But instead of every year, they changed it to every 4 years in America. And that all were obedient to that one commander-in-chief, man. They all got to obey him. He's commander-in-chief. It say, and that there was neither envy nor emulation among them, right? So everybody played their role. That just shows right there, man, that this America is Rome all over again. I'm gonna go to Revelation 17, and I'm gonna close out with that, man. Ain't too much more I could say. Well, it's a whole lot more I could say, but I ain't finna go on. This would be a damn all-night video, right? It's a Revelation 17:1. And there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, right? With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. How is America the whore that sitteth upon many waters? The waters is peoples and nations, right? You know that by going down to verse 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings. So like it, not verse 12. What is that verse? Verse 17, is it 15? And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues, right? So the waters are nations, right? America, this horse sitting on many nations, right? America has boots on the ground, U.S. embassies in a lot of different countries. Countries that they shouldn't even have no business dealing with. But they got U.S. embassies and, you know, military stations set up in these countries, right? And it say, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, right? You got China, they in bed with America. Israel, they in bed with America, right? America is in bed with allies and ops, right? America is in bed with everybody when it comes to, you know, making money and trade, right? America get in bed with anybody. It says, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication, right? They are drunk with the American dream, right? You got other countries, other people from other countries that despise America, but they want to still come over here to chase the American dream. They drunk with the wine of America, of the fornication, right? You go over to Israel, right, where the damn Zionists and the Amalekites, the small hats, they over there. They got pictures of Trump, like he they savior over there. Them damn white Jews, right? It say, and so he carried, verse 3, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of the names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. There go that Roman Empire again. But it say this woman is sitting on top of it. She's controlling it, right? She's controlling it, this woman, right? And America ultimately is controlling that scarlet-colored beast, right? She's controlling the 7 heads and the 10 horns, the European Union, right? And the common markets, the European common markets, right? And NATO. She controls them. Trump just said the other day, without America, there is no NATO. So in essence, America is controlling NATO and the EU. They're calling the shots. Like Chat just said. Chat said, some argue that the United States shares similarities with ancient Rome due to its global influence, right? That manpower. Let's see, compare it with the United States. Let's just see I just want to see what come up. Right, it says, comparing the ancient Roman Empire with the United States is a popular analogy. Here are some key similarities. Global influence. Both empires have/had significant global reach and influence. Military presence. Rome's legions and the U.S. military have had a strong presence worldwide. I can't make it more clear than this, man. They have a strong military presence worldwide. This is the whore that sitteth upon many waters. When it comes to military presence and what? Both were/are major economic powers shaping global trade and finance. Right? See, this you can't get around this, man. You can't get around this. Right? Need I say more? Really, do I need to say more, man? I don't think I need to say more. Right? I'm gonna wrap it up there, man. Shalakia. I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Right? I'm gonna say shalom on to the next, man. Lord willing, you was edified.